So tell me a little bit more about this, about the key to the fear of death.
The lead up to it was one of my more traumatic lives, but the whole context of that life and the ending of it, after I couldn't breathe, was having a hard time getting air, and then after a while I just kind of surrendered into it. And then when I went into it, I remember just this darkness coming in and just kind of snuffing out what I had left as far as life force. And then it was as if I just started spiraling down, and it's like all these hands were trying to pull me. And then I went down through the realms of what people here know as the Underworld. And so I was pulling down my consciousness through that realm so that I could find the key to that place. So it's like I was the key to death. So in order to do that, I had to keep myself completely cognizant and aware of what it was so that the light of my consciousness could see it and then unlock the mystery that usually consumes people and takes them. And there was a period of pause there in the middle. Like I said, I was beside this, I wouldn't call it a lake, but it was like a body of magma. It was all lit up. And I remember walking beside it, but I remember feeling all the souls there and then helping them all get a little bit better perspective on what was going on. And then I remember going down and down even further and further. And I remember it was the light, the darkness kind of just came in and just kind of covered and smothered me, but I still remember staying conscious, just barely. And then I remember I just kept that conscious awareness, and then I remember coming down through the very bottom, and it just got so dark, and then I remember bursting out through the other side, breaking open into just the vastness of eternity. And just, I remember that it's like and then everything was just quiet. And I remember hovering there in the infinite pure light, and I remember sitting in that still point, in that pause, after I was able to take that breath again. Because when I died, it was like I couldn't breathe, and then it kept pulling further and further. And I knew that all that was required was for me to stay with it, just to not check out, to not disassociate, because the psyche wants to go here while the experience is trying to take them here, and it causes a bifurcation of the soul, where the part of us that's technically conscious wants to get away and go over here. The other half of you, the primal, goes over here. And so I was doing everything I could to stay centered and poised in that middle place and keep the two focused on the goal. It was like being swallowed, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. There was no pleading, there was no praying, there was no... and that's why right before I died, I was fighting the urge to disassociate, so I was starting to feel very abandoned, like Father had just kind of left me there. And I had that feeling like I wasn't going where he was. I was kind of being pulled a different direction, but I knew that wasn't the case, and that can't happen. So I just stayed with it. I breathed the best I could at the time, and then when it pulled me down through, I remember the whole thing just sucking me whole down into that space. But when I came out the other side, it was home again.